What's up, guys? So today we're going to be talking about Jekyll Defaults. So what Jekyll Defaults is it's basically this thing that you can set up in your config.yaml file, and it will apply these default front matter attributes to any pages that you set it to. You can set it to all of the pages in your document. You can set it to specific ones. You can set it to collections, posts, anything like that. So anything that uses front matter, to my knowledge, you can apply these defaults to, and it's really great, and it can save a lot of time. Now, just before we jump into the project, I just want to say we're going to be using the project that we used in a prior video that we worked on adding that Jekyll Admin into, because there's this really neat thing that happens when you use Jekyll Defaults along with a Jekyll Admin. So let's go ahead and jump on into the project. Alright guys, so I've got the Jekyll file that the Jekyll project that we worked on in a prior video to add that Jekyll admin right here. So I'm just gonna quickly go to the admin page and show you a little something. So first of all, I've got the server running right here, so I'm just showing you that. Anyways, let's see. If we go to, we'll go to case studies. And let's say we go to create a new document, and this could be for posts as well. But if you see here, we've got a few things. We've got like a path, we've got a title, we've got a body, and then whoever's creating this would have to go and add in all of these meta fields. So if it were a case study, they would have to come in here, click add new field, name the field layout, and then go and name, we'll give it the property of case study or whatever you have that set. And that's all right. That's okay. I think if you're the one creating this, if whoever developed this is the one working on these, because they'll have an idea of what needs to go there. But say you've delivered this to somebody, they don't want to go through and figure out all the meta fields that they need to add in here, just so the case study looks like a case study, or the post looks like a post and has the proper attributes. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna unsave those changes, and it's the same thing for posts here. You got all the same stuff and you gotta add that in. So anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this much simpler by adding in some default metadata fields for whatever. You can do this, you can customize this a lot, and I will be leaving the link to the full documentation for default front matter in the description down below. But let's go ahead and add just a little something here. So I'm gonna open up, this is the project right here, and we're just in the config file. And this is going to be really quite simple. So you could set it for all pages, you could set it for specific pages, or for some specific collections if you want. But that's what we're going to do right now. We are going to do it for specific collections. Okay. So the first thing you got to do is you got to type in defaults. All right, just like that. Return. You're going to do a dash. Return again. And the first one is going to be the scope. So this is essentially where you tell Jekyll which files to add these defaults to. So within scope, hit return, you've got two things. You have path, which is required. And here's the thing. If you leave path empty and you don't put anything in it, it will essentially apply it to every file inside of your project. So this is a great way to set a default for everything if you want. But you could put in a path here, and it could be like a folder, and anything in that folder you could set these defaults to. But there is a second attribute you can add here that will help us. So this one is optional, but it is called type. So I'm gonna type in type, and this is where you can add things in like pages. You could add in a collection name. You can add in things like that. So we're going to add in case studies because that's what we want to add some default values to. So the next step is to add the values. So let's see what we want. We're going to go inside of there, And let's say we want our layout for all of these case studies to use the layout of post. We'll do that right there. Let's say we want to give them all a title. And we're just going to leave that empty because we don't want to set a single title for everything. But there's a couple other things that we do want to add here real quick. So we're going to add an excerpt because we want an excerpt. We're going to leave that empty. We're going to add in author, and we'll leave that empty. And then we'll add in one more. Let's just add in category, and we'll leave that empty right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to restart our terminal real quick and quit it and restart it. And now I'm going to open up the Jekyll site. Let's refresh the page. All right, and then now we're going to click on post. This is not where we added all of those defaults, but I just want to show you something. So you'll see here, all of these are still exactly the same. Nothing's changed here. But now if we go to case studies and we click new document, you'll see on top of all of this, now we have all of these metadata fields already laid out. So if this is something you're handing off to a client or somebody else who's not so not really technical, this is a great thing that you could give them. So right away, they don't have to think about, oh, well, what do I have to put here? Is it a layout or is it layouts or what? Or what's the name of the layout? You can set that in here already and it's predefined. They don't have to touch that at all. But you can give them basically extra meta fields that they could type things into so they know, oh, this is an excerpt. I will just say this is my whatever. This is my excerpt. I can't spell, but just like that, they could do whatever they want. They could write the author. They could set a category here. So there's a lot that you can do here, and this is great for setting some defaults for posts and collections and even pages because, let's face it, even if you're developing it, you don't really want to keep going and writing out layout default for every single page you create. You might want to have like a default set of meta tags for the front matter for all of your files or for only some of your files. So again, I'm going to leave the link to the full documentation in the description below because there's a lot you can do with this and it's something that's really powerful in my opinion. So if there's any questions you guys have regarding this, just let me know and maybe we can come back here. We can add some things to this. We can do whatever we need to do to help everybody understand what's going on here. But again, it's pretty simple. And I'll show you one more thing real quick. How you can add another default to something else here. So all of this is the default to our case studies only. So let's go real quick and we're going to add one more set of defaults, but we're just going to add it to everything. So what we need to do is we need to add another dash here. And then we're going to write scope again, and we'll go path. And we could let it go to everything, but I don't want it to go to everything. I want it to go to the type of posts right there. And then inside there, we're going to we need our values. And inside values, we're going to say layout is going to be post. Post just like that, and then we're going to give them all, let's just give them a author. We don't need to add a whole bunch here, but let's restart this and turn the server back on. Now let's go back over to the page, refresh it. So all of this here stayed the same, but now if we go to post and we create a new post, you'll see right here is our layout that's already set, and then we have an author field. So that's how you want to go. If you want to go and add multiple different defaults, that's essentially how you would do it. And again, I mean, if you wanted, you could just do this scope. You could let it go to everything. Then you could do values, and you could say layout for, underneath layout for everything by default is going to be default. That way, when you don't have to worry about anything. So these will override this default. So this default gets applied to everything for this layout, but this layout is going to override this. Okay, it's more specific. I'm pretty sure they do it by specificity. I'm not 100% sure, but I would just, you know, approach it in that manner. So go wide first. Anything that needs to be global, declare that first, and then as you need to get more specific, add that in, you know, towards the end. That's how I would do it, because I'm not 100% sure if they're doing it by specificity or just the order that it's in. But that's all you've got to do to add default front matter to any of your pages within your Jekyll site. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. If you want to set up these attributes for posts so you either don't have to worry about it every time you're creating a new page or a new post or a new case study or whatever it may be, a collection, while you're developing it, you don't have to keep putting in layout default, layout post, layout post. It's done. Just set it up as a default in the config.yaml file and you should be good to go. That's it, really. And if you're going to give this to a client, that's another great thing that you can do that'll ease them, make it easier for them when they are adding a post themselves or doing anything like that, because they're not going to have to worry about, oh, well, what was that metadata I needed to add? Was it layout? Was it whatever? That just gets annoying. So anyways, this is a really great feature. The link to the all the documentation for it is in the description below. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If it helped you, subscribe. And if you like the content that I'm creating on this channel, head on over to my Patreon account at patreon.com/ZacharyRNewton, where you can help support this channel and help me create better videos every week. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.